Good morning. Hi. So welcome to my 11 o'clock morning poem. The first of 2021. These monthly times just keep, I don't know, disappearing. I don't know what happened to 2020 really. Oh, good morning, Kerry. Hi. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, I think lots of people were feeling fairly dispirited really over the last few days. I know I've spoken to people who've said, oh my word, you know, this is an act of endurance. I had the great pleasure last night of appearing on a Zoom radio programme that's managed and introduced by a woman called Anna Magnuson, and we do this every month. She gathers people together, some of us here in the UK and some in the States, and we sit around and she does a live Zoom, and we all share poems that we really love and we have a chat about them, and it's just very lovely. And last night one of the starting points was, let's think of any of the benefits that have come out of this last year. And poetry for me, as you know, has been a major part of it, and I've carried on doing it every Sunday because I just think it's so uplifting and it takes us into a different sphere. And last night we had, one of the questions was, you know, what were the great things out of this year? And one of them was this really, and being able to communicate with people that we care about and we love across the world, and the breaking down of sort of borders. And one of the things that really was very strong was when everything comes to it, love is the thing that matters, probably is the thing that matters. Oh, great, you've just watched the KLHOI show, Amari. Fantastic, thank you. It's such a lovely opportunity to, I don't know, just to engage. And, you know, even though I felt pretty dispirited at certain points yesterday, that just brought me so much joy, as did a simple walk in the park, although there were loads of people, and a cup of coffee and a muffin with my friend Mariam, and we just sat on a bench, and actually we had just as good a time as if we'd been sitting in a restaurant and paid loads of money for a big meal. So yeah, very awful things ahead. Clearly we're about to head into another lockdown, so we're going to have to find resources in ourselves that are even deeper. So that sort of led me to thinking about how I noticed little things more, and how precious those tiny little moments of connection are. And Amari, who's just watching me now, we had a fantastic time on the 23rd of December, just simply sharing a glass of Prosecco and exchanging presents on her forecourt of her house. And I'm going to remember that, as I'm sure we're all going to remember how we spent the last week or so. Sorry, I keep getting messages coming up offering me various things to buy, which I don't want. But I've chosen today a poem by a Turkish poet, very radical Turkish poet called Nazim Hikmet. He was born in 1902 and died in 1963. Hi, Annalise. Nice to see, well, I can't actually see you, but nice to see your picture of you. And thanks for tuning in. So he died in 1963, and he had a really interesting life, and probably one of the most influential Turkish poets ever. But he did live much of his life in Russia because he was a communist, and he was very radical in Turkey, and he had to get out basically after the First World War. But he also, one of my other favourite poets, I was introduced to some time ago when I was in Chile, was Pablo Neruda, and I didn't really know much of his work, but Pablo Neruda, and I've just discovered Nazim Hikmet, actually shared the International Peace Prize, the Soviet Union's International Peace Prize in 1950. So lots to share, and I'm going to read his poem, which he wrote actually just a year before he died, and he spent 17 years in his life in prison. And it's called Things I Didn't Know I Loved. It's 1962, March the 28th. I'm sitting by the window on the Prague-Berlin train. Night is falling. I never knew I liked night descending like a tired bird on a smoky, wet plain. I don't like comparing nightfall to a tired bird. I didn't know I loved the earth. Can someone who hasn't worked the earth love it? I've never worked the earth. It must be my only platonic love. And here, I've loved rivers all the time, whether motionless like this, they curl, skirting the hills, European hills, crowned with chateaux, or whether stretched out flat as far as the eye can see. I know you can't wash in the same river even once. I know the river will bring new lights you'll never see. I know we live slightly longer than a horse, but not nearly as long as a crow. I know this has troubled people before and will trouble those after me. I know all of this has been said 1,000 times before and will be said after me. I didn't know I loved the sky, cloudy or clear, the blue vault Andre studied on his back at Borodino. In prison, I translated both volumes of War and Peace into Turkish. I hear voices, not from the blue vault, but from the yard. The guards are beating someone again. I didn't know I loved trees. Bare beaches near Moscow, in Pere del Kino. They come upon me in the winter, noble and modest. Beeches are Russian, the way poplars are Turkish. The poplars of Izmir losing their leaves. They call me the knife. Lover, like a young tree. I blow stately mansions sky high. In the Ilgaz woods in 1920, I tied an embroidered linen handkerchief to a pine bough for luck. I never knew I loved roads, even the asphalt kind. Vera's behind the wheel, we're driving from Moscow to the Crimea, Koktebele, formerly Koktebele in Turkish. The two of us, inside a closed box. The world flows past on both sides, distant and mute. I was never so close to anyone in my life. Bandits stopped me on the red road between Bolo and Gorede when I was 18. Apart from my life, I didn't have anything in the wagon they could take, and at 18 our lives are what we value least. I've written this somewhere before. Wading through a dark, muddy street, I'm going to the shadow play Ramazan night. A paper lantern leading the way. Maybe nothing like this has ever happened. Maybe I read it somewhere, an 8-year-old boy going to the shallow play, Ramazan night in Istanbul, holding his grandfather's hand. His grandfather has on a fez and is wearing the fur coat with a sable collar over his robe. And there's a lantern in the servant's hand, and I can't contain myself for joy. Flowers come to mind for some reason. Poppies, cactuses, jonquils. In the jonquil garden in Kadigov, Istanbul, I kissed Marika, fresh almonds on her breath. I was 17. My heart on a swing touched the sky. I didn't know I loved flowers. Friends sent me 3 red carnations in prison. I just remembered the stars. I love them too, whether I'm floored watching them from below or whether I'm flying at their side. I have some questions for the cosmonauts. Were the stars much bigger? Did they look like huge jewels on black velvet or apricots on orange? Did you feel proud to get close to the sky, to the stars? I saw colour photos of the cosmos in Ogonek magazine. Now don't be upset, comrades, but non-figurative, shall we say, or abstract. Well, some of them looked just like such paintings, which is to say they were terribly figurative and concrete. My heart was in my mouth looking at them. They are our endless desire to grasp things. Seeing them, I could even think of death and not feel at all sad. I never knew I loved the cosmos. Snow flashes in front of my eyes, both heavy, wet, steady snow and the dry, whirling kind. I didn't know I liked snow. I never knew I loved the sun, even when setting cherry red as now in Istanbul too. It's sometimes set in postcard colours, but you aren't about to paint it that way. I didn't know I loved the sea, except the Sea of Azov. Or how much I didn't know I loved clouds, whether I'm under or above them, whether they look like giants or shaggy white beards. Moonlight, the falsest, the most languid, the most petit bourgeois strikes me. I like it. I didn't know I liked rain, whether it falls like a fine net or splatters against the glass. My heart leaves me tangled up in a net, trapped inside a drop, and takes off for uncharted countries. I didn't know I loved rain. But why did I suddenly discover all these passions sitting by the window on the Prague-Berlin train? Is it because I lit my 6th cigarette? One alone could kill me. Is it because I'm half dead from thinking about someone back in Moscow? Her hair, straw blonde, eyelashes blue. The train plunges on through the pitch black night. I never knew I liked the night, pitch black. Sparks fly from the engine. I didn't know I loved sparks. I didn't know I loved so many things, and I had to wait until 60 to find it out sitting by the window on the Prague-Berlin train, watching the world disappear as if on a journey of no return. So that was written on the 19th of April 1962, and he died in June 1963 of a heart attack. It just fills me with a lot of joy, that poem, and I think it's a great message to do with just noticing, and I think we really are going to have to find that in ourselves again as we move into this year. So it's been a really long poem and a long splurge this morning, but I hope you've enjoyed the poem, and if you have, please do share it, and I'll put a link up to if you want to find out more about the poet. Hello Mo, my goodness, you're there, hi. And morning to you, Jim. Thank you so much, everybody, for checking in. And don't forget that if you have a poem, a particular favourite that you'd like me to read, do let me know. And our writing project, Claire Steele and my writing project, is coming online again on the 18th of January. So we're really excited about that. Happy New Year, Kerry. Hi. So yeah, thanks ever so much for checking in today. And yes, it has been quite a long one, hasn't it? So hope to see you checking in next Sunday. Take care, everyone. Bye.